Fun fact, did you know that Rusty was based off of a real dog that the creator of Bluey owned? Well, today we have a very interesting video. As you can tell by the title, today we will be doing an iceberg on none other than Bluey. When most people look at Bluey, it doesn't seem to go very deep. After all, it's just a show about a family having fun, right? Well, if that's what you think, you'll be surprised. In just 2 seasons, the show has not only proved how fun its concept can be, but has also raised many questions, incidents, and rumors in the process. Even as a Bluey fan myself, I learned some very interesting facts that I would love to share. Without further ado, let's get started. Bluey is a girl. Let's start with the biggest misconception about the show. No, Bluey is not a boy, she's a girl. Alright, that's the most obvious one, I just wanted to get it out of the way. Let's keep going. Blue Heeler. Speaking of Bluey herself, she is based off of a species of dog known as the Blue Heeler, a kettle dog that is native to Australia, the country where Bluey is produced. On top of that, the name Heeler is also the last name of Bluey and her family. There are also many other Blue Heelers in the show, such as her father Bandit and her cousins Socks and Muffin. Ludo Studio. Ludo Studio is a small animation studio based in Brisbane, a city in Australia. They are mostly known for being the studio behind, well, Bluey. They also work on other projects and comedies from time to time, but it appears that most of their efforts are placed on Bluey as of now. Joe Brom. Joe Brom is the creator of Bluey and is also the writer of every episode of the show as of now. According to him, he got the idea of the show from his past experiences with his children and the games they would play together. Outside of Bluey, Brom has also worked on other shows such as Charlie and Lola and even Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom, a show created by the same people and company as Peppa Pig. With that in mind, that will come into play later, so don't forget. Character ages. Unlike most shows, not only do the characters have defined ages, such as Bluey being 6 years old, but they also age as well. For instance, when the show first began, Bluey's sister Bingo was 4. However, in season 2, she had a birthday party, which made her 5 years old by the end of the season. '16 pilot. In 2016, a short pilot was released to test the concept of the show before it was produced. It was a short animation that involved Bluey, Bingo, and Bandit playing with each other, with Chili making a short appearance. Interestingly, while the animation was made into the season 1 episode The Weekend, it had many differences to the final show. Characters such as Bandit had different character designs, the style of the family's home was completely different, and the intro featured Rusty and Mackenzie, with Bingo barking in the background. The intro also used a part of a song from the band Custard, which Bandit's voice actor, Dave McCormack, was a part of. Bluey the Album. Bluey the Album was an album featuring soundtracks from the backgrounds of some Bluey episodes, such as Pull and Fruit Bat. According to Joe Brum, he had always wanted to release an album to show off how talented the music department is. The music itself was composed by John Bush, the main composer of the show. It was released in January of 2021 and reached the #1 spot on the ARIA's albums chart 1 month later. Bluey's Big Play. Bluey's Big Play was a live show that was originally planned to premiere in 2020. However, due to the you-know-what, most of its showings were postponed. Fortunately, it did play in 2021 to audiences in Australia. The show itself used large puppets who were controlled by performers on stage. According to audiences, the show was a callback to existing episodes, but also had an original story, with Bingo and Bluey helping Chili to get in touch with her distant sister. As of now, the show had not premiered outside of Australia, but Disney Plus is planning to release it on the streaming service. Real locations. One widely accepted fact by Bluey fans is the location of the show, as it has been established that the show takes place in the city of Brisbane, where Ludo Studio is located. On top of that, Audiences have also pointed out that many locations in the show are directly based off of real places in Australia. And while you can't visit Bluey's house, it is interesting to know that you can visit some of the places in the show. Social media shorts. Outside of the regular episodes, Pluto Studio has also made the occasional short exclusive to social media platforms. As the name implies, the animations are often around a minute long and usually involve the characters doing more slice-of-life activities. Examples include Bingo asking Bandit a question, Bluey and Bingo dancing, and Muffin trying to sing a song. Teen Bluey. In the episode Camping, Bluey meets a boy named Jean-Luc and quickly befriends him despite their language barrier. However, Bluey is devastated when she realizes that Jean-Luc has left the campsite and has to come to terms with the fact that she may never see him again. But, at the end of the episode, a scene taking place years after the show appears, with Bluey, who is now older, coming back to the campsite and meeting Jean-Luc once again. Some people debated over whether it was an imaginary sequence or if this actually takes place in the future, but either way, most concluded that it was a pretty heartwarming ending regardless. Shadowlands. Shadowlands is a Season 1 episode where Bluey and her friends Snickers and Coco play Shadowlands, where they have to move, but can only do so in the shadows. The main conflict came from Coco, who wanted to bend the rules of the game, starting a conflict between her and Bluey. However, Coco learns how fun rules can be in games, and everybody begins to get along. Overall, nothing too notable, but the episode did receive a board game based off of the episode. Holiday specials. At the end of the first season, an episode named Veranda Santa was aired, which involved the Healer family celebrating Christmas. However, contrary to what some believed, this wasn't a standalone thing, as at the end of the second season, an Easter special was announced. However, at the time of writing this, it has yet to air. The Luxo Ball. The Luxo Ball is a colorful toy ball that was featured in the Pixar short, Luxo Jr. Since then, it has been featured in many Pixar movies and shorts. However, the ball has become so iconic that it has made its way into other media, including Bluey, where it makes a cameo in the background. Sausage Dog. No, I'm not referring to Snickers, but a toy sausage dog. While it may not seem like anything special, it is considered a recurring Easter egg, and has appeared in many episodes in different forms. Personally, I haven't noticed them, but how many times have you seen it? Let me know in the comments below. Fourth wall breaks. In multiple episodes throughout the show, characters will occasionally break the fourth wall by looking directly at the audience. Often, it is usually during a troublesome or confusing situation, but happens in other scenarios as well. Jack's ADHD. In the episode Army, a new character is introduced to the show. Of course, the new character is none other than Jack, a Russell who has ADHD, causing him to have difficulty staying still. However, upon meeting Busty, the two begin to play Army, leading to the two becoming great friends. The episode was received very well by audiences, with its fun story and portrayal of people with ADHD or other conditions. Jack hasn't appeared that often since, but I hope he does get more roles in the future, as his character is very interesting and has a lot of potential. Bluey merchandise in the show. In episodes such as The Quiet Game, books can be seen inside of stores Bluey and her family pass by. However, upon close inspection, it is revealed that they aren't ordinary books, but books based on real-life Bluey books. While it is a funny reference, it makes you wonder, how does this work? Is Bluey famous in this world? Is it another Blue Healer? We may never know. Recolors. One common technique in animation is to recolor existing characters to fill background space. This way, scenes can feel more immersive without the need to develop completely new characters. In this case, Bluey is no exception, as it has its fair share of recolors as well. For instance, in the episode The Quiet Game, a character that bears a striking resemblance to Bluey can be seen. Also, not even to mention Busty, who uses a similar model to Bluey with slight differences such as the tail design. Grown-up Bingo. In the episode Daddy Drop-Off, Bingo meets a new kid named Lila, and despite the shy nature of Lila, she becomes great friends with Bingo. However, one twist people weren't expecting was the ending, in which photographs depicting the two over the years are shown, ending with Bingo and Lila graduating as adults, showing how far their relationship has come. Real fairies and magic. In the episode Fairies, the family pretends that fairies have taken over the house, and Bandit must apologize to Bingo to please the fairies. However, at the end of the episode, a real fairy appears and helps Bingo, and while many Bluey episodes have weird twist endings, this one is weirder, as it indicates that magic exists in the show, despite how grounded it is in realism. Bluey goes to a Waldorf school. While the majority of the episodes take place inside the hero's family home, there are also many other episodes that take place in other locations. One recurring location is Bluey's school, where she plays and socializes with her friends, often with the help of her teacher Calypso. However, many have noted that the school is quite different from a traditional school, such as it having an emphasis on creativity and play. As a result, many have concluded that Calypso's school is a type of Waldorf school, where creativity and expression are emphasized. Bluey Movie. According to Joe Grum, he has announced his compassion in getting into film writing, beginning with writing a feature film about Bluey. However, no information about this potential concept have been released. Later on, Grum has also added that the idea of a movie is possible, but that it would be difficult with the amount of animators and creators already busy with the original show. Celebrity cameos. Due to the popularity of Bluey, many celebrities have been contacted in and desired to be in the show. One notable example is Robert Irwin, the son of Steve Irwin. He played the character Alfie, a store employee from the episode The Quiet Game. Bluey is based on Peppa Pig. Yep, that's right, the creator said it himself. According to Grum, another inspiration for Bluey came from his experience working on Ben and Holly, where he heard of Peppa. He believed that he could use the concept of talking animals for a show of his own. And from there, said animals became dogs, and those dogs were Blue Healers. And well, the rest is history. Rusty's real counterpart. While the Bluey characters are based on real dog species, Rusty himself is special. Not only is he based on a red Kelpie, a type of dog, but he was actually based on a dog that Grum actually owned, who was also named Rusty. Now, I bet the dog wasn't an army fanatic, but it's safe to say that Rusty must have at least taken some inspiration from his real counterpart. Disney censoring. When it comes to worldwide distribution, the primary rights owner is Disney, as they distribute the show through the channels, as well as through their streaming service Disney+. However, it hasn't gone perfectly, as many have complained about the large wait times for episodes that were already released, the censoring of things such as farts, and marketing that attempts to Americanize the Australian show. Also, while some episodes did have jokes changed or removed, one episode, Teasing, is not available on Disney+. Racial connotations. Speaking of censoring, in Australia, some episodes were pulled due to some characters saying the term ooga ooga, and while it may seem harmless to many, some have argued that the term is offensive, as it has been used as an offensive term to describe the indigenous people of Australia. As a result, the episodes were pulled, with plans to change them appropriately in the future. Original 2014 pilot. 2 years before the 2016 pilot we've all seen, another pilot exists that has yet to surface. According to Grum, it involved Bandit, who was voiced by a different actor, pushing Bluey on a swing, causing her to make a 360 around it. Unfortunately, as of now, the pilot is lost and has never been released publicly. According to Grum, it was never aired as people considered Bandit's acts dangerous and because the pilot contained copyrighted music. Rusty was Bluey's cousin. Okay, I promise you, this is the last time I'm talking about Rusty, but hear me out. For a brief time on the official Bluey website, Rusty's bio stated that he was a cousin of Bluey. However, this appeared to have been a mistake, as this was removed in later editions of his bio, and while I don't have an official explanation to why this happened, my best guess is that it was due to the two having similar character models. Chili bio controversy. Speaking of bios, let's talk about Chili's. When her first bio was published, it claimed that her part-time job left her falling short of being a parent. However, a few have spoken out against this, claiming that it undermined her character. Shortly after, the bio was quickly changed to remove the sentence. Homeless character. Just like many cartoons, Bluey also has its own set of incidentals, or defined background characters. To give you an idea of what an incidental is, think of the chocolate guy or Harold from SpongeBob. However, one interesting character is one that appears to be homeless, as he is often seen hanging out on the streets, carrying his stuff everywhere he goes. Little is known about this character, but the idea of issues such as homelessness existing in Bluey really does open the door for interesting stories. Quentin's divorced parents. While he doesn't make as many appearances as the other characters, Quentin does have the occasional role in episodes. One of these is the episode Helicopter, where Quentin talks about how his father and mother are separated. Besides that, we also see his father often socializing with other women, likely looking for a companion and mother for his son. Gluten-free lunch. In the episode Daddy Drop Off, Bandit is seen preparing lunches for his two girls. Interestingly, he states that one is gluten-free, while the other is, quote-unquote, not gluten-free. Many found this fact interesting, as it indicates that either Bluey or Bingo cannot consume gluten. However, while it isn't confirmed, many have guessed that it is likely Bingo, as she is seen having issues in episodes such as Bumpy and the Wise Old Wolfhound, where she is sent to the hospital. Bandit joke. In the episode Bob Bilby, the family is planning to go on a bike ride when Chili greets them with bedroom eyes and asks, "Are you ready, Bob?" in a suggestive tone. As a result, Bandit freezes, taking a photo using his camera in the process. With all that context in mind, many have taken this as equivalent to him getting a thing to Chili's suggestive attitude. Bluey and Jean-Luc. Yeah, the Bluey fandom ain't safe from shipping either. And while there are many shippings, one of the most popular ones is between Bluey and Jean-Luc. Some claim that their friendship in camping could lead to a romantic relationship, while others argue that they could just be friends. And of course, others have argued that the idea of shipping child characters in general is a little creepy. Bluey was originally for adults. According to Brum, the show wasn't always meant for a younger audience. In fact, it was originally aimed towards parents and the more adult struggles that come with it. However, networks suggested that the show should be changed to aim towards a more general audience, and Brum agreed to get the show picked up. Muffin and Socks have autism. Now, I know this isn't a very popular opinion in the fandom, but bear with me here. According to some viewers, this would explain Muffin's more eccentric behavior, and the fact that Socks walked like a real dog in the first season. And while it sounds interesting, there isn't any concrete proof of this as of now. The show Misunderstanding. In the episode The Show, Bingo pretends to be her mother Chili, who is pregnant. However, the show goes wrong as the balloon representing Chili's baby pops, leaving Bingo devastated. After the incident, Bandit silently puts his hand on Chili to comfort her, and while nothing about the scene is peculiar in itself, a few believe that Bandit is comforting Chili for a previous incident with the pregnancy. However, many have also argued that Bandit is only comforting Chili as the two know how saddened Bingo would become, and not over something more serious. Grandpa Bob died. Compared to the other relatives of the Gila family, Bluey's grandpa, named Bob, is often left in obscurity, as he has only made an appearance in one episode of the entire show. With this in mind, many people wondered if the character had passed on, believing that it could be a potential opportunity for the show to discuss the topic of death. However, this appears to not be the case, as in a short, Chili is sending a message to Grandpa Bob, indicating that he's still alive and kicking. Also, he supposedly appears in Road Trip as a background character, but it's unlikely that it was actually intentionally meant to be him. Granddad was in the Vietnam War. Speaking of Bluey's grandfathers, let's talk about Chili's dad, known as Granddad. As the title implies, many have wondered if Granddad has served in a war at some point, specifically the one in Vietnam. And while there aren't any concrete evidence to prove it, actions such as him knowing how to store food in wooded or jungle areas do provide food for thought. Or maybe he just likes the outdoors, who knows. Also, while we're discussing this, many have also said that this old portrait in the Gila home is Granddad, so that's something. Bluey takes place in a post-human or apocalyptic world. On the Bluey subreddit, a user named Jack Cairo developed a theory regarding how the Bluey world works. According to them, the show takes place years after a massive nuclear war has wiped out humanity. With the humans absent, dogs have learned to take their place, adapting their ways and becoming mutated from the radioactivity. After becoming more human-like, the dogs eventually learn to rebuild civilizations, often making them resemble those in our current world out of memory. However, the genetics are often unstable, leading to a dog-like behavior to leak in. This has resulted in Sock's nature to walk on all fours, and why the characters sometimes do things like howl or bark occasionally. Alright, we have one more thing to cover on this iceberg, so here we go. Last but not least, Rule 34. Yep, we're ending the iceberg on this. I mean, let's be honest, this is the darkest one. And yes, in case you were wondering, this type of art exists for Bluey too. And no, the children are often not exempt. But yeah, I don't have much else to say. Also, Dad, hello. Well, that was quite the ride, wasn't it? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned some interesting facts about Bluey. What did you think? Are there more things I should cover in the future? After all, I did skip a few things in this video, so let me know and I may make a second part in the future. Well, that's about it for today, so it's time for me to say goodbye. Goodbye and have a wonderful day, everyone.